with future plans for a star revealed and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. After suffering a concussion in preparation for one last match, which he ended up canceling, Mick Foley said this on his YouTube channel. Hello everyone, this is Mick Foley with a concussion update. You might be able to tell by the tone of my voice, it's good news. Really good news even going into this weekend. When I resumed my work schedule, I was a little out of it, but over the next 3 days, wow, really felt the fog lifting. It's kind of like coming to the surface after you've been swimming underwater. I last had one of these minor concussions 6 years ago after riding a roller coaster. They shipped me from side to side, and now following this episode, I decided that I am no longer going to be taking on the deadly duo of Father Time and Mother Nature because they commenced a kicking of my butt, and it's not a rematch I'm looking to have. So I'm really happy that in a weird way that I had this little wake-up call. I really appreciate all the well wishes people sent me. People concerned about me. I'm doing really good. Always appreciate your support. In case you're wondering about this shirt, it is a custom shirt featuring my dog, Bernie. That's a nickname for Randall the dog, named after Randy Orton. Just thought you'd like to know a little something to make your day nice. Noting his current position in WWE, Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson told the Jackson podcast, "Yeah, I think there's a great opportunity to do a lot of great things under TKO with WWE and UFC, but right now I'm loving the WWE process. Everything is going really good. SmackDown, the dark matches are going really well. I'm getting better every time, so I'm focused on one thing at a time, but obviously at the end of the day, competitiveness is always going to be there, and there's always the what if you can. But where I am right now with the business is really good, and I'm happy where I am. It's for you to experiment because it's not on live TV. So right now I'm trying to find who is Gable. I know who I am in Olympic style wrestling. I know who I am in folk style wrestling. But in entertainment, who am I? I know who I am personally. I'm outgoing. I'm funny. I'm nice. I'm humble. But sometimes you gotta be that cocky, and this side, I can be that, and I can be whatever I want to be with my life. I was thinking the new Brock," Gable said in response to Rampage Jackson saying he should be the next Goldust. Mentioning a comment on his live stream for Twitch where it was said that Logan Paul is a fantastic wrestler, Kenny Omega said this: "Logan Paul's a fantastic wrestler. Great, I'm glad you think so, and I'm glad he's able to convince you such a thing. However, could Logan Paul walk into New Japan and do a G1 where he'd have to walk in every night and have an actual banger? No, he absolutely could not. Is he going to get there between now and, I mean, it depends on his commitment level, and not only that, does it matter? No. He's clearly setting his roots down in WWE, and that's where he wants to succeed, and that's where he wants to be a star, and that totally makes sense. So for the WWE style and what they're willing to do for him, give him time, allow him to grow, develop, get more familiar with his surroundings, take the time to have him have everything up in here, his head, to make sure that when it comes time to perform what it is that they've rehearsed, what they've scripted, that he'll be able to pull it off as though he just showed up to the arena, you know, how the old timers did back in the day, the Terry Taylors and the Terry Funks." Speaking about the match between his sons, Jimmy and Jey Uso at WrestleMania 40, Rikishi said this on his podcast: "First of all, I'd like to send a big shout out to my sons. To be able to finally have their dream match in this industry that they've been wanting for a long time. I felt like they went out there, they delivered. I only wish that they could have had a little bit more time. I felt like there was a missing puzzle there, which is the guy who you're listening to now. Hashtag I never got to call Rikishi. So I felt had said, they did great without me, but just to add a little more into the match, it would have been a great opportunity, not only for the fans, but also myself on a personal level, to be able to grace the stage with your kids. That's a memory that will forever be in stone in our family, but at the end of the day, I don't make the calls. I didn't lie about it. I was right close by. I was in Philadelphia. Everybody knew where I was at, but I never got the call. Responding to criticism for inducting Muhammad Ali into the WWE Hall of Fame, The Undertaker said this on his 6 Feet Under podcast. I was there and I was so tickled to be there and be able to induct Muhammad Ali. I'm glad you brought that up. So I got a little heat from part of the veteran community. For people that don't know, Muhammad Ali, I don't know who wouldn't know this, but Muhammad Ali refused to go into the army. He didn't want to go to Vietnam. He didn't see why that he was going to go 6,000 miles away from home to fight somebody that had and he didn't do it and ended up losing everything. To be honest, for a large part of my life, I resented Ali over that. But the thing when you look at everything that Muhammad did, and not even the athletic end of it, not even the boxing side of it, but the things that he did as a humanitarian and everything, I don't agree. I still don't agree with not going. Your country asked you to go do something, you could do it. That's how I am, and I wouldn't. But when you think about the conviction that he must have had in the beliefs, such a strong belief in what he thought was right and what he thought wasn't, he gave up everything. I think too, it was like, I thought Undertaker was a patriot. Man, kiss my ass. Kiss my patriot ass. It just rubbed me a little bit. There are a lot of reasons. I get some of it, but to give me hate over inducting Muhammad Ali, I mean, my goodness. Revealing details behind WWE eventually signing Tama Tonga, Carl Anderson noted on Busted Open Radio, after my Tokyo Dome match in 2023, which Triple H let me do, because we signed back with WWE and I was still a champion in New Japan, and he still allowed me to go do 2 more dates with New Japan Pro Wrestling with no issue at all. But I remember texting Triple H and telling him Tama Tonga's contract is coming up, and I think Tama's a full-blown can't miss if you ask me. And he wrote back right away, and it took a year to get it done, but like I said, I'm a big believer in stuff happening for a reason. And now he's here, and yeah, the changes in being able. I think Vic Joseph called me the machine gun on NXT recently, and even just hearing that still kind of crazy. Bringing up the backstage reaction in WWE to Liv Morgan injuring Rhea Ripley, Fightful Select reported that, as mentioned, there's no heat on Liv Morgan for the Rhea Ripley injury. It happened when she went into the wall last week. Discussing his initial run in pro wrestling and his return, Adam Copeland also touched on retirement, telling Mostly Sports, "I've lived a lot more life." As strange as that sounds, it actually does add to your utility belt out there. As a performer, any kind of performer, they have to dip into a place to pull the character off. It's the same with wrestling. That, more than anything, is what I've noticed coming back. Some of the skill set I got in the acting I did during those 9 years off, I did over 100 episodes of television when I was retired. You kind of pull those things back with you. I feel that's the biggest difference. I might not be as fast as I used to be, but I feel mentally I'm better than I've ever been. This is why a guy like Tom Brady goes, yeah, well, mentally, I'm better than I've ever been. I see the game better than I've ever seen it. I think that's the struggle. That's kind of how I feel, but I'm also a realist. I don't want to be that guy who sticks around to the point where a young guy looks at the sheet and goes, okay, I have to wrestle him tonight. I don't want to be that guy. I want young guys to still be excited if they're going to hop in there with me. I figure maybe I have a year and a half left, give or take. Hopefully, I've gotten all the yeahs out by that point. as it appears that NXT will see a new star in Giulia. Future plans have been unveiled, with Ringside News writing that Rossy Ogawa's announcement of his new promotion, Marigold, brought excitement to wrestling fans, especially with the inclusion of highly anticipated talent like Giulia. Giulia's involvement in Marigold is expected to precede her transition to the WWE Performance Center, according to sources close to the situation, as reported by Fightful Select's Corey Brennan. She is slated to compete in a handful of matches in Marigold before potentially reporting to WWE in late June or early July. While there is speculation about Giulia's theme music and ring name in WWE, sources from NXT production and creative indicate that WWE could secure the rights to her current theme music, but currently have no plans to do so. Additionally, it's planned for Giulia to retain her ring name upon joining WWE. As for her debut on NXT programming, it's believed within NXT circles that Giulia will make her first appearance at NXT Heatwave on July 7th. There are expectations for her to vie for one of the NXT Women's Championships at the event. Furthermore, it's been disclosed that Giulia recently visited the WWE Performance Center during her time in the United States, underscoring the groundwork being laid for her transition to WWE. Writing about an interesting connection between Rhea Ripley recently vacating her women's world title and John Cena, tribal megastar, wrote on X. John Cena held the WWE title for 380 days before having to relinquish it due to injury. Rhea Ripley has held her WWE title for 380 days and may have to relinquish it due to injury. This number is officially cursed. Asked if he had any regret over airing the Brawl at AEW All In Wembley between CM Punk and Jack Perry on Dynamite, president of AEW, Tony Khan said this on the Chris Russell Show. I think it made a lot of sense. First of all, the Young Bucks FTR ladder match is coming up at AEW Dynasty for the World Tag Team Championships. This is the fourth chapter in FTR Young Bucks. I believe they are the two greatest tag teams in wrestling, the two best on the planet. The last time they wrestled, Young Bucks FTR 3, was at Wembley Stadium, AEW All In. A lot happened that day. Those guys, at one point, they were the third match on the pay-per-view, and at one point, it looked like we were going to have to call them up and they were going to have to wrestle the first match. They ended up going on in the spot they were in, but the Young Bucks said the whole day, everything that happened, it affected their mental preparation. They weren't able to pray before the match. They were very stressed out. They slipped on the banana peel, lost the match, and they blame FTR and what happened at Wembley Stadium. In hindsight, that's why they refused to shake FTR's hands. We've seen the Young Bucks change a lot. We saw them get really dark during the retirement run of Sting. They've only gotten darker and more twisted. That's why they felt like they should play the tape. It was fascinating to see after the tape played the reaction Jack Perry got at New Japan. He got the reaction of a superstar. That is not altogether unexpected, and it's something very interesting, perhaps a side effect of this. Jack Perry, already a big star in wrestling, really the way the crowd connected with him in Chicago, that was interesting. It leaves a lot of intrigue going into AEW Dynamite and AEW Dynasty. Touching on the current situation with the bloodline in WWE, Rikishi had this to say on his podcast. I think the bloodline's going to kind of take a back seat for a minute, recoup for a minute. We do have other players that are lined up to be able to come through, but again, the bloodline will always be there. It just has to be the right angle, the right storyline. Who knows? I'm going to go out and just throw this out there. I kind of see a War Games. I kind of of see somewhere down there The Rock turning on Roman Reigns. Rock becomes the heel, Roman comes back as a babyface. I kind of see the bloodline family members spread up and take sides, and then I kind of see something huge as far as War Games or some type of gimmick match amongst each other. They would probably want to build that up for the next WrestleMania. To have that type of match being put together, it'd be nice to see that happen in the West Coast, because a lot of our Polynesian culture, the West Coast is island. Nothing but island people that are out here. Samoan, Tongan, you name it, a bunch of Polynesian, Hawaiian. So to be able to come out here and showcase that match in front of our people would be great. Talking about her transition from AEW to WWE, Jade Cargill said this to Evan Mack. "It feels great. What I want everybody to understand is you've seen my first match ever. You've literally seen me grow. Who gets to see that? That was my first match ever. That was Shaquille O'Neal and Cody Rhodes. Who gives that? So I think everyone should give me grace and be understanding that you're literally watching me go from an infant into a superstar. No one gets that. People go to the PC or whatever and they grind on NXT for years or the indies. Like, be thankful that you're getting to see my progression. You can say, damn, I seen her first match, like, oh my gosh, look at her progression and look what she's done. It's been great. Like, I can see my improvement that I've done. I can see how I'm handling things way better, and just the veterans in the locker room as far as AEW and WWE who come to me and given me great sound advice to succeed in this business. Everybody wants to see me succeed in this business, and you best believe I am." Revealing how WWE reacted to the hometown entrance for Sami Zayn the other night on Raw, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful noted that, as one would imagine, there were rave reviews internally for Sami Zayn's entrance. For an update on a lawsuit against AEW and WWE, Ringside News wrote that Anthony Dwayne Wilson's lawsuit against both WWE and AEW included serious accusations of plagiarism and damages, claiming the companies used his creative works such as wrestling gimmicks, names, slogans, and likeness without his permission. He stated that these actions infringed upon his plans to launch his own wrestling promotion and his discussions with Bullet Club members about joining him. Wilson alleges that his career has been significantly affected by these actions, which he claims have caused market, product, personal, and financial damages. He accuses WWE and AEW of continuing to use his works without acknowledging or compensating him, and argues that they intentionally derailed his career. Despite these accusations, the lawsuit was dismissed on November 3rd, 2023 by Judge Benita Y. Pearson. The judge cited that neither defendant had been served within 90 days of the lawsuit's filing, which took place in August. As a result, the case did not proceed further, leaving Wilson's claims unaddressed in court. This dismissal may mark the end of the legal battle unless Wilson decides to refile his case and ensure proper service to the defendants within the stipulated time frame. In seeking justice, Wilson is pursuing $250 million in damages and the return of all his intellectual property. He initially filed the lawsuit in August of 2023, but it was dismissed in December of 2023 due to neither defendant being served within the 90-day period after filing. However, the lawsuit would then get a second chance, and this time both AEW and WWE were served. According to PW Insider, Anthony Dwayne Wilson filed a request with the United States District Court for the Northern District of Ohio on April 10th, requesting a stay pause in the case because he is currently incarcerated. This request for a stay may impact the progress of the lawsuit against WWE and AEW, as it could delay proceedings until Wilson's situation changes or he is able to participate in the legal process. To the Honorable Judge of said court, I, Anthony Dwayne Wilson, by and through self-representation, respectfully asks this court to stay all further proceedings in this case until my release. Due to my current state of being incarcerated at Trumbull County Jail, located at deleted, I am unable to properly handle and follow the status of this case in a timely manner at this time. I ask the court to grant my request to stay the case because I have put forth a lot of my time and money to file the lawsuit against World Wrestling Entertainment and All Elite Wrestling, and being that I am of self-representation and cannot do it properly at this time, see it necessary to file this motion. I seek this stay not for the purpose of delay, but that justice may be done. The dismissal was without prejudice, which allowed Wilson to refile the lawsuit. Therefore, he has refiled that lawsuit to give it another try. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.